there's things there that the kids got to find and look at. Like, kids were playing with tree sap, ants on the ground they go and look at, and they were quite interested with an inch ant at one point.
All right, lift off and the clock has started.
G'day and welcome to Every Road Catch-Ups, the video podcast that gives you the stories and details behind our adventures. And I'm Nathan, your host, and on today's episode, our very first episode of Every Road Catch-Ups, we're going to go over the trip we did to Mount Samaria. But before we dive in, go and click the subscribe button down below. That way you won't miss out on any future videos. The first trip we did on Every Road Adventures was up to Mount Samaria State Park. We started our trip there from Swampool, where we stopped at the Swampool store and topped up some supplies that we needed for the day. From there we headed back out the Tadong Road down to Mount Samaria Road. So on the intersection there is the Morngate Cemetery. We turned right up Samaria Road and headed for Mount Samaria. A bit further up, we took the road off to the right at the fork there, which is Mount Samaria Road. And that led us straight up into the Mount Samaria State Park. So the very first place we come to was the Samaria Well. Now, you can let me know in the comments if you've been up there before. And I've only found the one well up there, so if there's others up there, let me know. Be quite interesting. This was a dry well. It obviously hasn't been used for quite some time. Pretty easy road to get up there, no dramas at all. From there we continued along the Mount Samaria Road, snaking our way along. As you head along, it's a pretty easy road in the dry, as we did. I reckon as you get a bit further up into the bush, the steeper sections could get a bit hard to tackle in a two-wheel drive car. So we've been up there a couple of times now up to the Mount Samaria. First time we actually went and walked up the summit. There's about 3 different bushwalks up to the summit from memory. We only did one that time, but on this particular trip we didn't actually do any bushwalking up to the summit. We chose to go and look at the waterfalls instead. So we get along. We're getting up to closing into lunchtime by now, so we pushed along and made our first stop at the car park to the Wild Dog Falls, where we actually stopped and made ourselves some lunch. From there we actually then took the walk. Now the sign there does say it's 800 metres to the Wild Dog campsite, or there's 1.5k walk down to the Wild Dog Creek Falls. So we took the walk. We were heading to the falls. Now the first probably 3/4 of this bushwalk was pretty flat, pretty easy. Any undulations were very gentle. This was an awesome little walk, really good. Massive. Look at the big tall eucalypts throughout the bush. There's things there that the kids got to find and look at. Like, kids were playing with tree sap, ants on the ground they go and look at, and they were quite interested with an inch ant at one point. It was a great fun walk. But not far after the Wild Dog Falls campsite, which is a campsite that you can only access via walking, as it's bushwalk only. So not far after that, the walk actually then turns into something a bit steeper. So this is where it starts to get a bit more serious walk. Up and down. Parks Victoria and management have actually installed cool steps to make life a bit easier, a bit safer. Although that didn't really help too much with the kids. Being a 2 and a 4-year-old there, the poor little legs struggled a little bit, but they did really well. And these steps sort of go up and down and head along right up until we get to the falls. At the falls, once we actually got to the Wild Dog Falls, wasn't flowing too fast, but there is a lookout there, a lookout platform, as you would have seen in the video, which is, looks out over the valley below. Awesome views. From there, we then headed back out. Before I do that, I did, go down and have a bit of a look down at the waterfalls there, and you can hear on the video at one point Daniel's yelling out to me, "Where are you, Dad? Where are you?" I think he's got a little bit worried I was running off on him.
Dad, where are you? Dad, where are you?
So from there we headed back out, went for a little bit further walk around, but that walk, if you continued around, will take you to the Back Creek Falls, which is further along. We didn't get to do that on this particular trip, as it was a 3K round trip, so we'd used a fair bit of time and kids' energy for the day, so we chose not to, because it was a very similar rated walk and similar distance, so we chose not to. So we headed back out the walk. So again, the first quarter of the return walk was quite steep. Kids smashed it, I must say. The kids really smashed it. They went and they smoked it. Now we just kept going, got back onto the easy part. That was really quite easy to get back to the car park, so there was no dramas on that whatsoever. We continued along the road till we get to the historic area at the Samaria Kilns, where we got to have a bit of a look around and explore, have a look inside the old kilns. Lots of old graffiti there from, I think I saw back in the 70s. I think someone had dated some of the graffiti on then in the 70s, so some of it's been around for a while. But nice little spot. There is a little drop toilet block there, so no feeling that if you do go up there you need to be going in the bush. You can quite easily have some amenities. In that same little picnic camp area, you can head off. There's a few different walks you can take off around there. We did see there's a campfire spot there as well, so you can, with a hot plate, you can cook there. Someone had obviously previously been there before, because there's still some steam coming off that fire, but they tipped a heap of ice on it, so we just made sure that was out while we were there. Had a bit of a look around, bit of a play. Kids got the ball out and kicked it around. We then finished our day at the Rocky Point Lookout, a short little walk up to a little rocky outcrop looking out over the valley below. A really cool lookout and a really cool way to finish the day off. That's it for this first Every Road catch up. We'll try and endeavour to do this and catch up after each of our adventures, and just explain a bit of the backstory behind it, any stories that we come across, details of how to get there, what the roads or tracks and stuff might have been like. So just to try and give you a bit more information on the track, so that help you get out there and find some freedoms. If you haven't yet seen that video that I made and posted on the Mount Samaria walk, you can just go up here and check it out up here. It's just up there. Get out there, keep making tracks on every road.